Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Setting yourself up to move from one man to the next man to the next man to the next man. That's why you don't need to be in an intimate relationship with a man and he's dumping his DNA in you. You're receiving his imprint, and when you finish going from one man to the next man, him put this seed into your land. Your land is full of a whole lot of crap that this other man, because if you got stuff in that soil that his seed is not, that man needs to be a good veteran to know what's in that land before he starts planting his seeds. And you need to know that no man really wants to plant his seeds in another man's garden. So if you're the garden, and you letting all these throughout your lifetime, you talking about I'm getting, man, he's glad to say, man, how many bodies you got? But the woman's over here down here, look how many bodies I got. She thinks she's the same. she thinks that this applies to her also. She hasn't figured out that you're not a man. We're not the same. We don't think alike. And in this role of seed planting, the dialogue does not work. It's not the same. Okay, I'm not going to try to go so deep in this. I think God keeps life simple. Because, and you know why I learned that? Because I'm a special education teacher, and everybody is important. Everybody. It's always somebody smarter than somebody else, and it's always somebody not as smart as somebody else throughout the whole world. You think you're the biggest man in the world? You think you can beat? There's always someone who can beat you too, just because you're bigger. And you can get things out of people who are smaller. If they come together, they can beat your behind too. So don't think that this rule does not apply to everybody. It applies to all of us. I'm just specialized in a way to where I can get it to the goats. That means the kids, the young ones, so that they can understand. So it doesn't need to be complex. It needs to be very simple so that they can get righteousness also. They can understand a very simple message that the great Creator has given to us. These are schools of thought that we need, and it needs to be simple so that everyone can get it. Okay? Otherwise, it's not fair. Okay? And our God is a fair God. The Creator, He's fair. Okay? So we have to try to seek these answers. Now let me get me a little more Roma over here. Not Roma. It's mushroom coffee. And let's rise, baby, let's rise. Okay. Next thing. So we're still talking about the power of words. But somehow I think that little last talk was more about, I didn't put the top on that. It didn't get as hot as I wanted it to get. I think maybe this power of words, let's get on to that. Men, young men, and I talk to you at this point. I talk mostly to the men. I can talk to the females too. I have a daughter, so I have to be able to make sure that I don't say something or do something that is not right, because the woman is very important. She is very important, maybe sometimes more important than the man. But this man, if he's going to be a leader, he has to be equipped. And a lot of our young men are not raised by fathers. So they don't understand how to use this power that they have been given. So they really don't need to enter into a relationship with a female until they get themselves together. But the female is so busy looking for a protector, maybe, until she thinks that this thug, just because he's imitating his physicality as a power, and I had the most interesting, I had the most interesting conversation with my youngest son. I was so proud of him. Now, I don't consider myself a big man, but in reference to my household, I'm probably the tallest one, even in my family. You know, that was a time. I'm getting shorter now. I recognize I'm getting shorter now with age. But when I was a few years back, I was like 5'10", and I stood up to saw my brother. We were all standing there. Now, me coming up, I saw my brother. He's taller than me. You know, I always looked up to him. All of a sudden, in a picture, I saw, oh my goodness, I'm taller than him. But this thing with my son, he was shorter than me, probably one of the shortest one in the family right there. But I'm listening to the way he talks, and I say, oh my goodness. And when I found out that Martin Luther King was, I think, shorter than I am, he wasn't a tall man. In my head, he was a tall man. And I see that in my son, you know, the way he thinks. He's learning, he's still learning. But he may have a small frame, but he thinks like a tall man. He has good wisdom for his age, for where he is. And I can just imagine as he goes through life, he's gonna have to go through some lemons. But I think he's prepared to be able to think and look and judge wisely and use the right terms and what have you to be able to make that communication. A man must learn how to use his sword. And where is the man's sword? His words. This Bible speaks of your words. So when we come together and we are communicating and talking, we're fighting. We swinging the sword this way, blah, blah, blah. And your ability to be able to use words is power. And I said, my son's gonna be power. He might need to be a lawyer or a politician. Well, not politicians, they liars. We usually say that, but we need people who can speak well and create these pictures so that understanding is delivered. And I notice he has that gift. My father has the gift, and I think I have the gift also. Okay, why? Because I'm an Ezell, and so is he. But one thing about it, my mother was not a very confrontational person. But you get an educated woman, you can't just say anything, because she's gonna cause you to sharpen your tools. And you've got to figure out how to use words to be able to, it says iron sharpens iron. But who wants to be sharpened? Who wants to see their wife as their competitor? This is the reason why when you get a confrontational woman, she creates acid in a household. Now, this household is going to be sick. Why? Because she was not able to submit. And a woman that's not able to submit is just like cancer in a body. She creates death. She creates acid. And now that family is in trouble because she married to someone that she could not submit to. And if you're not able to submit to the rules and regulations of an institution, a man, a head, a leader, or whatever, if you're not, you're there to divide. And that's exactly who my first wife was. She's a good person, but she was an educated woman. And then you married an educated man, but you were not able to submit to him. Why? Because she came up in a household where her mother did not submit to her husband. And because she was a more educated woman, her husband was a very wise man. He was a wise man, and he spoke very. He was a very peaceful man, I might say. But he would say some things that would make you think. Kind of.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.